As you can see, I'm having lots of fun moving. It's been great. You know what else is great? The fact that Smosh is coming back. And you're like, hey, actually, I'm a reasonably aged person, not an old dinosaur like you, Chris. Who is Smosh? Why should I care? Why are you even talking to me? Please go away. That is a good question, my friends. So let me try to convince you why you should care. Smosh started in 2005, and it was the first like big YouTube channel, right? PewDiePie was the person to actually surpass them, but for the longest time before that, they were the number one sub record holders, right? And it was a big deal to be the top creator in kind of innovate. Like, hey, here's how you actually make YouTube content. Here's how you can turn making stupid videos where you just make fart jokes into an actual career path. So it's interesting to see, and they all look so old. All these people look so old. Um, in terms to when they were little kids. Specifically, these two guys are in Smosh, and these two people are in Good Mythical Morning. I mean, relatively old is in terms of like a brand new, fresh baby child from 2005. So, Anthony Padilla has returned to Smosh with co-founder Ian Hecox. Hecox? Am I saying that right? And yeah, they did it almost 20 years ago at this point. That's how long it's been. And they put out a YouTube video saying like, hey guys, here's why I left the company eventually, and then just trying to see what happened to it. They actually got bought by a company called Defy Media, and as you can see the collapse, Defy Media went away. So Smosh was acquired by Rhett and Link, who are the other two guys in the picture who look, I don't know, they look very tall. Like, I feel short looking at this picture of them, but anyway, they bought it from Red and Link, so they now have the actual channel back after selling it in 2011 to Defy Media, who was kind of horrible. My media. If I actually look this up here, apparently it was originally founded in 1996, but the final company was in 2013. And then on November 6, 2018, it ceased operations. And after its assets were frozen by creditors, and several former employees blamed poor financial management with high overhead from YouTube. And I guess, I don't know what that even means. But anyway, Defy's former head of audience development, Patrick, stated the company stole $1.7 million from him and other YouTubers, and claimed the company was a Ponzi scheme and using creators' money in order to make it look more attractive to investors. So that's good. Love to see that. Anyway, so they've had a hard time with actually keeping the channel that they started, and it looks like these two people are getting back together and making content again. And this is probably good for a lot of reasons. One, having people doing things for fun again is nice. I think that people forget there was a world where it was just fun. Every single person seems so stressed out about making a living on YouTube now or Twitch, or at least making it substantially worth their time investment, to the fact where they're like, for kick.com, it's like, hey, let's make a job where, you know, it's actually like a minimum wage. If streamers come to our site, can they have a minimum wage? And you know, it's it's not about that necessarily, right? It was just like a fun hobby. It's just a fun hobby. People like me and AV enjoyers, you know, there's like an AV club at high schools back in the day where, you know, you'd like put out a video for the morning announcements, right? And there's like video production and editing and all that stuff that I love as a nerd, right? That's why I'm sitting here talking to you through your internet box. More than likely, you're also a nerd, or you're like, you know, direct family members of mine, because I don't have a lot of people that watch me. But all I'm trying to say is that this original YouTube channel was founded by people who did it for fun, and now they have a lot of money. So it can now be for fun again. It doesn't have to be like something that's generating lots of money. This is Defy Media, you know, they made like movies and cartoon books and all the kinds of other things that they talked about in their announcement video, where they're like, hey, we had to do like a lot of media creation and production to the point where it was wearing people out. They didn't feel like it was the original spirit. And hey, that's really cool, right? We want to bring people back to like making content for fun, because that's what it's supposed to be at the end of the day, right? I guess that, there still are corporate trappings and ways, right? It's not literally just the two people, but yeah, they're co-owners of that, and it's fun. The second thing I think is important is that it's two old people, old people, right? I think that they're like not quite 35. Maybe they're a little older. I'm not actually sure. There's something like that, right? I guess I could actually quickly fact check this, but I'm not going to. I don't check facts on the internet. But they're not like actually old in terms of a full working career, but very often because of, I don't know if it's like old stereotypes or whatever, like get a job, like you have to just go to work and work until you die. And that start work date usually seems like around 23, 24. But, you can kind of reset the expectations on that a little bit when you get older content creators that are returning for so long in like the mid 2010s to now. It seemed like the whole market would be overrun, but it was like either Ninja, who's like, I think that he's a little bit older than me by like maybe a month, or maybe it's the other way around, right? We're like technically in our 30s, but we're not old. It was either that or like an 18-year-old. And now with like Valorant and other games coming out, it's usually just a bunch of very young people. The audience is very young and the people are very young. But there is a lot of a population of growing like millennials, right? The older millennial group, I suppose, that is still online and still interacting. Maybe they're not making like content full time, but they're there, they're present. And it's like, hey, we want to still do stuff too. And I think that would be good for someone like Smosh to come back and be like, hey, we're old, still making things for fun, making sketch comedy. It doesn't have to always be like, okay, guys, I'm going to do this YouTube channel as a hobby. I remember there was a YouTuber who made a YouTube video for like his college, and then he closed it after getting like over 1 million subscribers, being like, okay, I've detailed my life at college. Now it's time to start my real life. We can't do that internet stuff. What? What do you mean? I think that there's a lot of tools now, financial tools, to like empower people to follow that path of individual, like, quote unquote, independent content creation. You're still giving so much more of your money than you need to like Twitch and YouTube and other people. But, they're not super profitable, and like I get it. It's video servers are very expensive, but there's a lot of ways that people can self-publish things now. You don't need an MCN. You don't need to have a Defy Media company that comes in and tells you exactly what you need to do to make content. You can self-publish a ton to very successful levels, to the point where the top guy on Twitch is someone who just draws in Microsoft Paint and draws funny little charts to explain to his audience member what he's saying. I'm talking about XQC. It's so hard to understand that guy. I listened to one of his videos the other day, and he just talks so fast. I want to have a language where I speak like that, like a hybrid of English where people can understand me, but I can speak at 3 times the speed. Okay, well, that's it. That's all I had to share. Smosh is back. Good news for boomers. Internet boomers. I don't know. I don't like feeling super old when I'm not actually old yet. And the internet makes you feel very old once you're past the age of 25, regardless. So maybe this will be a good thing and more of a landscape change over time. And that was me just ranting at a camera. But hello, goodbye. I'm going to be in a new place probably when I make another YouTube video, but I just thought I'd do this for fun because that's what it should be about maybe sometimes, and not making money or what the algorithm says. All right, goodbye now.